Today is one of these days when I feel like really tired. However, I was so motivated tonight to make the review about the Sony 24mm 1.4 G Master. I sometimes compare it in this video to the Zeiss Batis 18mm, but really rarely, because I had to decide myself whether I am going to buy the Zeiss Batis 18mm 2.8 or the Sony 24mm 1.4. At the end, I decided to get the Zeiss Batis 18mm because I actually needed more wide angle. However, the Sony 24mm 1.4 is a brilliant lens. Fast autofocus, sharp shots, great bokeh, a great close focusing distance. And if you would like to support my partner in Munich, go to objektivvermietung.de. If you ever have the chance to visit Germany, or you could also live in Germany as an American or as someone from the UK or someone from Australia. I don't know if you live in Munich or Hamburg or Berlin, whatever, and you would like to test that lens in advance, please make sure the link is listed in the video description below. Please make also sure to follow me on Telegram and on Instagram. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to post a comment below. Enjoy this short review. Thanks for watching. Here's the body of the Sony 24mm 1.4 G Master. Feels like high quality, very compact and much lighter than my Canon EF 24mm 1.4 2 USM. Every now and then I will compare it to the Zeiss Batis 18mm because I had to make a decision myself. Rather more wide angle or more speed. In the end, I opted for more wide angle. More about that in a moment. We tested both lenses on the Sony a7 III. The Sony 24mm 1.4 G Master currently costs just under $1,400 US bucks. Sony gives the 24mm a 67mm filter thread. Saves in any case some money when buying filters. On the bayonet you have an aperture ring, which means you can adjust the aperture on the lens either with clicks or in one pass. The related switch is on the other side. The lens hood is part of the package and you can switch between the autofocus and manual focus on this lens. The Zeiss Batis 18mm as well as the 24mm Sony G Master are protected against dust and splashing water. You can find the ultra-fast memory card I took for these shots in the video description. If you scroll all the way down, you can even find the sample files. One of the main arguments for the Sony 24mm 1.4 is of course the low light performance. No more ISO 25600. Just open the aperture and let your projects run. Ideal for events, indoors or even portraits. If one of you prefers to do something without light but needs more wide angle, I have the ultra focal length comparison for you. There's the 18mm and the 24mm. See for yourself if these 6mm mean something to you. Granted, there are better places to test vignetting, but this was the only option left for me that evening. I recommend the automatic correction of your camera. Even without the auto correction, the vignetting is minimal, and that's with a 1.4 aperture lens. Very good, Sony. Unfortunately, I could not use my EF 24mm together with my Canon EOS R on a gimbal such as the DJI Ronin SC. The reason for that is the EF to RF adapter, which makes the whole thing too big and thus the camera bumps against the gimbal axis. With the Sony a7 III and the 24mm G Master, the whole thing looked much better. Absolutely recommended for weddings, hobby filmmakers, YouTube. For this you can borrow the Rokinon SC2 and the 24mm GM beforehand to make a final decision for yourself. Sony Alpha 7 Mark III with the Sony 24mm f1.4 G Master, and that's how it looks like if you're trying to vlog yourself with a fast aperture wide angle lens. I'm using now the internal microphone. If you hold the lens directly into the sun or into another light source, you will see a clear lens flare. The whole thing looks much better with indirect shots. As you could already see in the short video sequences, you can hardly see anything of the background anymore. The bokeh is fantastic. You will get round bokeh balls and you can even isolate your spot. If it was my lens, I'd use it to take portraits, capture details, shoot video, take it on my trips simply because of its compact design, speed, low distortion and fast autofocus. I'm excited to see what you use it for or would use it for. There's plenty of room for your creativity just below this video. That brings us to the conclusion. I've been using the Canon 24mm 1.4 for almost 8 years now for events, my videos and all sorts of detail shots. The Sony 24mm G Master would be used for exactly the same things. But since I already have the Canon, I figured I'd rather go for more wide angle, so I opted for the Zeiss Batis 18mm. However, you can always make use of a 24mm, whether for interior, events, nightlife, weddings, or just for filming. It's best to borrow it first. You can find the link to my partner in the video description below. If you want to support my channel, you can also buy it via the link in the video description. Make sure to follow me on Telegram and Instagram. All the best from the heart of Germany. Tschüss und bis bald.